this was secretly removed from Fortnite. And later in the video, there was something secretly removed from your locker and you did not know. The Fortnite Skull Trooper skin is one of the most popular skins in the game. But what if I told you that this was completely removed? Well, that would be partially true, because in the China version of Fortnite, Skull Trooper, Skull Ranger, Oro, and any other skeleton skins were completely removed from the game. Even the crackshot style with a skull on it. But next up, in Chapter 3 of Fortnite, there was a giant statue on the island, and this thing was too big to miss. They've had statues in the game before, but this one was special because it had an insane game-breaking glitch. You see, players found out that if you threw an off-road tire at a specific spot on the statue, the entire thing would start flying across the map.
Sometimes it disappears. Oh. It's bad.
Honestly, this one was pretty hilarious and made for some great laughs, but now it was removed from the game. The sprites were just secretly removed, and the reasoning is terrifying. But wait, the secrets I reveal later in this video are insane and will help you win every single game. From the week Fortnite began teasing Season 4, the marketing was all about these new bugs. But then, out of nowhere, they teased the sprites, those little glowing creatures, and posted, "I sure hope nothing bad happens to them." And well, something bad did happen. The bugs ate the sprites. That's why you can't find any of the sprites around the whole island. This is like kind of dark, and I wish that this didn't happen to the sprites because I love the sprites, but this is true, sadly. But the next one is kind of crazy because this isn't even the first time bugs have invaded Fortnite. Back in Chapter 1, Der Burger had its own bug infestation, and they even shut down from it. We thought it was just a fun little Easter egg and side story, but nope. Apparently, that was basically foreshadowing for this season's trailer, because in this trailer, Der Burger gets destroyed by bugs. Epic's been planting bug clues for literal years. I don't think they're actually connected, but it's kind of funny that it happened in both seasons. But one of the brand new skins has a secret identity. In Chapter 1, Season 4, Fortnite released this skin, and this one was named Battlehawk. Well, this new skin in the Battle Pass was seen in the trailer with his mask off, and it was secretly Battlehawk in disguise. The hair, the scars, the face, everything, it's him. Epic gave him some new drip and dropped him back into the game without saying a word. But something weird is happening with these bugs, because obviously they're digging everywhere, they're destroying the earth, but they're also digging up massive skeletons under the island. These aren't just like animal bones, they are gigantic, which means whatever they belonged to was huge. I'm calling it now, either we're getting massive creature POI or these bones are part of a new live event or something. Epic is being sneaky this season. Another brand new skin is actually just an old skin remade. If you compare them side by side, it's obvious. In Chapter 4 Season 4, we got this May skin, and now in Chapter 6 Season 4, we get a new version of her. This time she's got like fake arms and she uses a controller to control them. It's pretty cool, but it's still funny that they reused this skin. There is a secret skin hidden in the game right now, and it matches the theme of the bugs perfectly. In one of the new loading screens, we can see a brand new fly skin. It looks like they're forcing him to figure out more about the bugs, and he does not look happy. Okay, but launch pads are officially back, and they've been buffed. They send you so high, and you can basically fly across the whole map. And pair this with Flowberry Fizz and you will go so far. But did you know that you can actually get a free back bling if you use the Fortnite website to buy something from the item shop? Just go to fortnite.com/item shop and buy anything there, and you should get this brand new banana back bling. Use code PBJ if you do buy anything, by the way. Epic's being secretive, but based on the leaks, later this season we will get a Power Rangers blaster. This thing looks awesome, and I bet it will do some good damage, but it looks like it's gonna have a slow fire rate, so we'll see how it works. But speaking of new weapons, the new Swarm Strike rocket launcher literally is insane. You aim, and the rocket curves through the air to hit whatever you're pointing at. No more missing that annoying guy cranking 90s. This thing is literally overpowered. It destroys every build that's around, making it impossible for someone to stay hidden. Use it before it's nerfed because I can bet that it's gonna be nerfed. But Triggerfish just got a brand new secret style this season, and it's actually pretty nice. It's a new style to match the version of him that we saw in the trailer, and it looks pretty cool. I was actually just using him for some background footage that you're probably watching in the background right now. But Fortnite just dropped a new emote in the OG Battle Pass, and it's hilarious. It's based on some old memes, but it's just so funny. What's your favorite emote in the new season? But a brand new skin called Bethany is coming out soon, and she's wearing a sleeping outfit. And on her side, we can see an axolotl stuffed animal, which is pretty cute. Something funny is that the bugs seem to be making Bird the king, and he's literally just chilling there at their new locations. But in Season 5 of OG, Fortnite actually hid a new Easter egg inside of it. On the side of the map, Fortnite recreated the classic Muselk builds when he was originally trying to save that one person. Play the clip, it's too funny not to.
That must have been what this guy was doing. Okay, here we go. This could hurt. Oh god, dude, if we slide off the edge. Oh no. Oh no. I'm coming for you, boy. I'm coming for you. Hold on. Music's here. Oh no! We killed Chappadoodle!
Allie got an Easter egg too, but it's not very obvious. If you go into the lobby in Season OG, they added a little Diplodocus meme in the background of the new lobby. It's super small, but it's there and most likely there because of Allie. A cool secret for anyone who plays on PlayStation 5, the brand new minigun now has adaptive triggers. So when you hold it down, you can literally feel the power. It makes it even more fun to use, which is bad news for anybody on the other side of it because there's no way you're letting go of that trigger. But players noticed something else. The bug designs this season matched the leaked Herald skin. It was an old skin about the Herald from Chapter 3 Season 4 when she was originally working with The Last Reality, but the spikes, the colors, even the creepy vibe, this could mean that the Herald is pulling the strings behind these infestations, which would make sense, but we'll see if this ends up being true. But there's a brand new flying glitch. It is kind of pointless to be honest, but I guess it can hold you in the air for a while. But with the new double jump medallion, you can jump, drop the medallion, and pick it up again, and then jump again. And if you keep doing that, you'll just stay floating in the air. It is pointless because you can't do anything when you're doing that, but it's cool to know, I guess. Fortnite just made this skin free, and they also made a huge mistake with a new weapon. If I show you, you have to promise not to abuse it. I'll show you in a minute. Because the new Halo Spartan skin is completely free, even if you don't have the battle pass, because Fortnite made it so that way when you reach level 100, you unlock her even if you don't own the battle pass, which is an awesome deal. But players are mad that 3 of the battle pass skins are collaborations. We have a Power Ranger, the robot from Power Rangers, and Halo Spartan. Players already thought that 1 was enough, and now they're upset that there's 3? What do you think about there being 3 collaborations in the battle pass? But that's not the only thing players are mad about, because the new items are ridiculously overpowered. This new orbital strike is like no other weapon that we have seen. It marks the entire area and bombs it. Competitive players are already complaining, and the weapon isn't even out yet. But that's not the only overpowered weapon, because this new rocket launcher is like the guided missile, but way better. Don't forget that later in this video, Fortnite accidentally added a game-breaking glitch, but this new rocket launcher can follow your movement. So you shoot it, and let's say somebody runs away. No problem, just follow them with your cursor. It's absolutely broken. And you might think, oh, this does a little bit of damage since it's so overpowered. Nope, it does a ton of damage and it destroys all the builds around. Use this before it gets nerfed because it most likely will. And on the topic of overpowered weapons that'll be nerfed, the new exotic double pump is beyond overpowered, because it is like a golden pump shotgun, but you can have 2 of them and double pump, and it still does good damage. And if you don't want to carry both, you don't even have to, because you can still somewhat double pump with only 1. But to double pump, you don't actually need any exotics, and Fortnite's been lying to you about that. Because there is a secret that lets you double pump with any shotgun. If you get the new shotgun revolver, it lets you double pump with whatever you have. It hits at insane range and actually does a lot of damage. I was able to destroy some people using it. And if you match it up with like the shockwave launcher, it's just broken. But Fortnite just leaked something that might be a terrible idea. So for a long time, players have been begging for this to be added to the game. But after teasing and teasing, they have never added it. Until this season. Proximity chat is finally coming to the game. This means if you're playing, you can talk to the players around you even if they're not on your team. Do you think this is a good idea, or do you think this is not smart? The new minigun is overpowered. I mean, that's just a common theme with these weapons this season. But I'm lying because it's actually not very good. The reticle is honestly terrible. It goes all over the place when you're shooting. It does shoot really fast, but it doesn't do very much damage to players. It'll only really be good when in squads with teammates or trying to destroy builds or suppress fire. So yes, it shoots fast and a lot of bullets, but it's impossible to hit shots with on players and doesn't do as much damage. But if you play Fortnite on a computer, this one is for you. If you have a newer GPU, you need to try this new setting. The new performance mode is really good for newer end PCs. Mine usually gets low FPS even though it's a good PC, but when trying the new DX12 performance mode, it's boosted like crazy. So go ahead and try that out if you have a PC. But did you know that there is a new launch pad? It sends you twice as high as the original, and it is absolutely broken. Because if you pair it up with some Flowberry Fizz, it sends you thousands of meters away. Definitely really good for movement. But this next one is extremely fun because the medallions have never been this good. If you can get all 3 medallions, you'll be moving like crazy. One medallion gives you double jump, one gives you a boost when you slide or jump, and the other gives you health on eliminations, and when you're not even eliminating people, it still heals you. These are definitely worth going for, unlike the past seasons. But Fortnite accidentally broke the new OG season, because Season 5 just released, and with it came the double barrel shotgun. But they completely forgot to remove the double pump feature, which means you can double pump with a double barrel. The double barrel already does like 150 damage, so if you have 2 of them, that means you can do a ton of damage. What is your favorite thing about this new season? And what is your least favorite thing about this new season so far? Later this year, Fortnite is adding something brand new called companions. Do you remember those pets that go on back blings? Well, it's exactly like that, but a little cooler, because now they follow you around by your side. They will cost V-Bucks in the item shop, and also probably be in the battle pass. And they should be coming soon, so keep an eye out for it. But Tabor Hill found a glitch that is making people really annoyed. Right now, in the vaults, there are a lot of items you can get. Some really good exotics too. One of those is the shockwave launcher, but for some reason when you actually try to buy it, it disappears, only leaving you with some ammo. Fortnite better fix this because I really want that shockwave launcher. People are complaining about the bugs, the main part of this season. But not because they're scary, because they're annoying when fighting. You'll be mid-fight and a bug will come over and break your builds. Or third-party you. I think bugs are cool personally, but let me know what you think in the comments. Something amazing they finally added back is the gold locations. When a location's name is golden, this means there will be extra loot. These supply drones will be flying around the location, and these will drop really good loot. And a lot of it. It's especially nice when you land on one and just get the loot immediately, or shoot it down from the sky after you've already looted. But another thing that they added to the game after a few years of being gone is the flagpoles. These things are really nice because they give enough loot for your team to be kitted up between fights. And these usually drop the golden slurp juices too, which makes it completely worth it. In Season 3, we had the leveling up system, and everyone thought it would be gone for Season 4, but surprisingly it stayed. And not only did it stay, but it got better, because now random drops come in and give you loot depending on what rank you are. If you go to these grind rails at the Supernova Academy, you will literally go flying across the entire map. a perfect way to escape tight battles or a bad situation. From secret locations to hidden superpowers, these are some things that Epic Games does not want you to know about. This right here is called the Vault Board, and it is used for completing different quests on Fortnite. And while it seems like nothing out of the ordinary, this board contains a secret which nobody has figured out yet. You see, if you zoom into the top right corner, you can see what appears to be a sprite. And this is actually the first look at the 0 point sprite. But something weird about this is that all the sprites went extinct this update, because the bugs secretly killed them all. So if this is being teased, then does that mean that the sprites return next season or later this season? Or was this scrapped? This next secret is actually terrifying. Head on over to the Wailing Woods bunker on the OG island and you will notice that there are flashing lights coming from the inside. However, the bunker is unable to be opened. But did you know that the flashing lights are actually telling us something in Morse code? The lights blink a Morse code that communicates something is wrong. Let us know what you think is going on in the comments down below. I'm interested to see some theories. The scorecard emote is a fun one because it gives you a random number each time you activate it. It can be used to grade your teammates or your opponents after eliminating them. However, the scorecard is completely random, or so we thought. If we want to troll our enemies, there is a way that we can secretly get it to turn 0 every single time. All you have to do is perform the Take the L emote before activating the scorecard emote, and boom, you can give anyone you want the good old 0 on the scorecard every time. But you have to have the Take the L emote, and I don't even know if this works anymore because it was an old clip. The score may show a 0, but it's a 10 out of 10 secret. But this next secret is a hidden location that is hidden in plain sight, yet no one has seemed to come upon it. Not only is it a secret location, but it's packed with insane loot and even Easter eggs. But before we get into the next secret, only 3% of you guys are subscribed, so if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. Located at the very edge of the map is a hidden location called Lakeside Lab. If you break this wall here, you can find a secret room with a bunch of loot. But that's not even half of it, because as the name Lakeside Lab implies, this spot was set up for research. Well, just outside of the location on this little island is a digging operation set up around a giant X. And as we all know, X marks the spot. But what lies beneath the X, well, that's still a mystery. You can also find a bunch of different radio setups in this location where you can actually hear the Imagined Order guards talking to each other. This might just be a reused asset, so we can't take that for sure. But another spot with some hidden locations and Easter eggs come from the Utopia City. Believe it or not, this spot has more hidden Easter eggs than any location in Fortnite history. The deepest secret lies here in the basement of the high-rise. If you're able to make it out of the high-rise, you will stumble upon this random poster of a donut. Does this donut look familiar? Well, that's because it comes from a classic hit TV show, The Simpsons. Clearly, this is an Easter egg leaking the Simpsons x Fortnite collaboration. The battle bus has been around since the beginning of Fortnite. It is used to transport players from Spawn Island to the battlegrounds. But now we can actually drive the battle bus ourselves. You see, Fortnite just added the battle bus as a car that you can drive around. The only other time we've had something similar is in Chapter 3, but now we can just use the SUV skin as the battle bus. And I've been wanting to drive the battle bus again for a long time. Fortnite has always added fun little jokes to the game, such as the no dancing sign where if you performed a dance move, you would instantly be eliminated. Well, those no dancing signs are back. And guess what? Apparently they were installed on opposite day because this time when you dance, dancing in front of the signs gives you a huge boost. Let us know if you try it in the comments. Back to Utopia City we go, where there is once again another crazy secret. This one is just wild because it's right in front of you, yet no one seems to notice. But this portal located in the center of the spot actually shows the 0 point. But why is this so important? Well, those of you who have been playing the game for a while now know this 0 point is essentially the foundation for everything Fortnite related, and it hasn't been in the game in a very long time. So they're hinting the return here. Here comes one of the biggest hidden secrets in Fortnite, and while it may take a little bit of searching, it's definitely worth it. We all know about the sprites in Fortnite, little creatures that give you hidden abilities and stuff like that. Many of you probably think that this Superman sprite is the rarest one to find, but you would be wrong because the most uncommon sprite is the ghost sprite. These little guys appear randomly on the map and have no abilities, players cannot pick them up, but many believe these may be teasing something in the works, such as a ghost themed sprite. I guess only time will tell. Cosmetics are a huge part of Fortnite. Everyone loves to show off their cool skins, pickaxes, and everything else. But did you know that some of Fortnite's gliders actually have a secret ability? Starting with the X-Wing glider, which allows you to open and close the wings as you fly. And next, the Hot Rod glider, which is reactive with lights indicating left and right depending on which way you fly. Which one is your favorite? And do you have any of these gliders? By now you've definitely heard or seen of this ridiculous chest in Fortnite, which takes a solid 10 minutes to open. Why did Fortnite add this? We have no idea, but for those of you who are too lazy to open it yourself, well, here's what's inside. Is it worth the 10 minutes or not? Next up, I got some of the top secret landing spots that Fortnite doesn't want you to know. Starting with this train here between Crime City and Foxy Floodgates. This spot guarantees you not one, but 2 legendary chests. Just like the gliders have their own secret features, these backblings do as well. Starting with the Mobile Mini-Tron backbling, which keeps track of how many eliminations you have. The Undertaker collaboration had a similar secret because when you equip the Earn back bling, you will hear his iconic sound after every elimination. But the coolest back bling of them all has to be the Max Stacks. See, this back bling starts off as a simple shoebox on the back of your character, but after each elimination, more boxes are stacked on top. When Fortnite dropped the Hollow Twister AR, it instantly became a favorite. But sure enough, it was vaulted. Well, kinda. You see, Fortnite sneakily added this AR back into the game and it's super easy to find. Go to an Armory Shadow briefing and pick the Assault one and it'll grant you an uncommon Hollow Twister AR. Pretty cool. But this next one was very controversial. One day, Fortnite randomly decided to allow players to redeploy their gliders at any time. This meant you could jump from the highest of towers and still take no fall damage. Fortnite changed this and never brought it back, besides an item that allows you to redeploy your glider. But did you know that there was an emote that was completely changed? When Fortnite added the Sabrina Carpenter Espresso emotes, they originally had it sped up. But you see, this really made a lot of people mad. A lot of people just wanted the regular song in the game, and so after they complained for a few days, Fortnite completely removed it. But then they added it back with the regular audio. I guess Fortnite was hurt by the backlash, so they just changed it. But I'm not gonna lie, I kinda liked it sped up. But back in Chapter 1, Fortnite allowed players to change their resolution to a stretched format. Players were starting to get really sweaty, and they took this super seriously. They started changing their game to look stretched so they could see more in the box. This was used by a lot of pro players to try and get better at the game and try to get an upper hand on the other players. But Fortnite decided that this was unfair because some people can't do this, so they started banning players for doing this. Subscribe if you knew any of these. But next up, time when Loserfruit's skin had a secret change. When her skin originally released, if you wore a back bling, her hair would go over her shoulder. But Fortnite secretly removed that, and now her hair just stays there and the back bling covers it. And later in the video, there was one that made Nick-A30 freak out.
One of the greatest vehicles in Fortnite was the tank. This vehicle was sadly removed after a few seasons, but before it was removed, if you went into replay mode and looked at your character inside the tank, it revealed that your character were actually using the controls properly. No one would have ever noticed this in game, so the devs really just did this for a secret detail. But a funny secret that was removed was in Chapter 2 when the Coral Castle was added. If you went to the center area of Coral Castle, there was this little hallway that had a bunch of conch shells on it. These shells would play different tunes when you would use them, and some players even made a song. Fortnite removed something from the game that no one would notice today. Back in the day, Fortnite didn't have any special healing animations, but now they have these fancy, cool animations. This is just a small detail, but it looks so much better.
Did you know that Fortnite was originally working on an item that could call in a custom supply drop? This was secretly scrapped and removed, but would have been super interesting to see. But another item like this was called the Golden Ticket, which was the original reboot van. But instead of how you rift in with the current reboot van, it was supposed to be a battle bus that comes and drops you off. This would have been crazy, but they removed it. But do you remember the alien nanite grenades? Well, not many do. These created a giant square that if inside, you could float around in zero gravity and move wherever you wanted in weird ways. But did you know that before it was this, there was a weird version of it? It used to be a grenade that could be thrown down, and if inside of this bubble, instead of being able to move like this, it was just slow motion. This would be interesting to see in real fights.
Did you know that Take the L, Laugh It Up, and a bunch of emotes were secretly banned from Fortnite? One day they secretly added a setting that allowed you to turn these emotes off, and they didn't even tell anyone. But this next secret is kinda sus, because Fortnite secretly changed the doghouse slay emote. This emote has your character like straddling the doghouse, but someone out there somehow figured out that if you put on a skin with a skirt, they changed the way that they sit. Okay, but who figured this out? After years of being worked on, Fortnite finally released their first-person mode, Ballistics. But after only 2 weeks of being out, they already had removed it. I mean, you could still play the ranked version, but some players say it's too sweaty. But Fortnite removed a feature that was important to many players, and this actually had to do with a collaboration. Star Wars has been in the game for a long time, but in Chapter 3, Fortnite released the Darth Vader skin, and with his emote specifically for his skin, you could hear the Darth Vader breathing sound effect. But 2.5 years later, when they added a new Darth Vader skin, players expected to hear the breathing again when using the emotes, but it doesn't happen. It's only for the original Darth Vader skin. The Take a Seat emote had a huge change as well though. For the male skins, they put their foot on their knee, but for the female skin, she crosses her legs. This one just makes sense, I guess, but unlike the next one on this list, because in Chapter 3, Fortnite added the Klombo. He gave you some good loot, he walked around the island, but after a few months of him being in the game, he was randomly removed. And Fortnite never told us why, until 3 years later when Fortnite added him back to LEGO. I mean, I'm glad we have him back a little bit, but why can't we just have him in Battle Royale? Fortnite made some huge changes to Battle Passes. They changed the prices from 950 V-Bucks to 1000 V-Bucks, but they also changed the way that Battle Passes function. For a few years, we have had Battle Stars. These would collect in your pass over time as you leveled up, and you can unlock your Battle Pass one by one. But in Chapter 6, Fortnite removed this, and now they just unlock over time automatically. But a fan favorite Fortnite emote was removed for good. Fortnite has gotten into a lot of trouble with copyright over the years. The original default audio was actually removed because it sounded too similar to something else. And then later that chapter, they brought out the tidy emote. But after some drama with its original creators, Fortnite decided they wouldn't bring this back. And to this day, it hasn't returned. But something else that hasn't returned is LTMs, also known as limited time modes. These were added in Chapter 1 to keep the game fresh. It would be a fun game modes like Floor is Lava, Snipers Only, Solid Gold. But at some point in early Chapter 2, Fortnite decided they would stop bringing these back. I think Fortnite would be much better if they just added some of these fun game modes back. But something that scared a bunch of players was when the giant turtle was randomly removed one update. Players were running around the island like, where is he, where is he? But it turned out he wasn't removed, but instead he was moved to a new location. Like and subscribe to keep Timmy the Turtle in the game. In 2023, we saw a glimpse of Fortnite OG, the original version, not the new one, but the version that was only out for a month long. Fortnite secretly had removed the iconic loading screen though. They ended up replacing it with a very clever version where we get to see the other side of the classic wall. We even see Jones peeking around the corner. But in actual old Fortnite, there was this huge footprint on the ground. Players always wondered where it came from. Some thought maybe it was a dinosaur, others said maybe the monster from Season 9. But 6 years after it was removed from the game, by the time that it was added back in OG, we have a Godzilla collaboration. Maybe that is what made this footprint different after all. Okay, but in 2024's Winterfest, there was a huge theme. This was the hidden gingerbread men all around the island. They would do everything, from enjoying some bird food to burying a robot. These guys were out of control, but these sadly would be removed after the Winterfest ended. In day 1 of OG Fortnite, the slurp juices would heal 25 shield and 25 health. That was what it was like in the original season 1, but because Fortnite thought this wasn't good enough today, they changed it back to 75 HP, secretly removing the OG slurp juice and replacing it with the new one. But that isn't the only slurp juice that was removed, because in chapter 4 we had a very overpowered slurp juice that was the legendary slurp. This slurp healed 200 HP over time, and after Fortnite chapter 4, luckily we haven't seen this since. Okay, but in chapter 6, Fortnite added some crazy movement, with the ability to jump extra far on ledges and even bounce off walls. But when Fortnite OG came around, players were wondering if they'd keep this in the game, but instead Fortnite removed this and kept it OG. Well, kind of. They kept the sprinting and mantling, but honestly it's better that way. But another movement item was secretly removed in chapter 4. Many players didn't know this even existed because of how long it was removed. Hurdling was added for only a few weeks in chapter 4, and it was so buggy that it was removed and wasn't added fully back until chapter 5. Remember earlier when I talked about Darth Vader? Well, there's another Darth Vader secret that has been removed, because when he was in the game as an NPC, he had a custom death animation when you would eliminate him. And this was of course removed when he left the game. But he isn't the only character to have a custom death animation, because when Peter Griffin came to the game, he also had a death animation and it was pretty funny. But one of my favorite weapons in Fortnite actually kinda did have a secret too, because the Evochrome weapons would upgrade as you did damage. This was extremely underrated, and sadly we haven't seen this in the game since chapter 3. But that isn't the only chrome that was removed. So was the chrome splash, which allowed you to walk through walls. But a crazy detail in Fortnite chapter 2 was that when you walked into a new biome wearing a bush, the bush would change to match that biome, giving you a much better disguise. But something that was expected to come did not, because the Skibbity toilet outfit came to the item shop, the cameraman skin with the toilet back bling. Use code PPJ, by the way. But when I was looking at this, I was like, so where's the Skibbity toilet emote? And sadly, they never even added it. This next one's hilarious though. Fortnite added a rip-off version of Among Us, and it was called Imposters. This had many tasks that you could do, and it was honestly a lot of fun. One of the tasks had you order a specific kind of pizza, and hilariously, they called the pineapple topping Psycho. Imposters was sadly removed, but I mean, honestly, I think they should add it back. Something else that was a lot of fun were the toys. These toys would add a new spin to matches, and with a football you could throw, a soccer ball you could kick, and one of my favorites was the basketball. You could shoot these into hoops and it would actually work. But at some point in between then and now, Fortnite removed this and it doesn't even do anything anymore, which is sad. But another funnier glitch was when you could fly around the island like Superman. This was insane. If you timed it right, with the Oni mask, you could just fly forever. This next one had the whole community upset though, because in chapter 5, Fortnite went all out for the metaverse, which was a good move overall, but they decided to remove the rarity on skins and emotes and pickaxes. This was a weird change and was hard to get used to for sure. Similar to when Fortnite added moving llamas. The llamas at some point in chapter 2 one day just started running around. If you didn't kill them in time, they would rift to another location on the map, leaving you with absolutely nothing besides a few shields.
Did you know that there used to be water balloons that could damage people? Now we only have a boring emote. In chapter 1, we used to get LTMs pretty much every week. But something a lot of people forgot was the red supply drops that were in the LTMs. These would drop all sorts of crazy items, but not as crazy as the Kingsman umbrella from chapter 2. Okay, maybe it wasn't that crazy, but this was only in the game for like 1 week, and it wasn't even very good, so nobody really remembers it.
Shield. And I'm gonna kill him. Okay.
But something that everybody needs to remember was in chapter 1. Fortnite had just added a shopping carts to their game, but something that not a lot of people remember is when you paired it up with a minigun, you could ramp up your speed like crazy. But there was a secret change to the Big Shield potion that no one remembers. This thing used to be a common rarity, Definitely an interesting choice, but one of Fortnite's funniest moments is in Chapter 1 when friendly fire was enabled. Okay, maybe it's good that Fortnite removed this. The pump shotgun is one of Fortnite's most beloved items, but some players have forgotten how overpowered it was in Chapter 1 when there was no delay. The classic double pump was so broken. If there's one thing that players seem to forget, it would be the pre-built structures. Fortnite used to have llamas, foxes, and many other animals built around the island. If you landed there, anyone could edit the build, and there were even some chests inside. But around that same time, players began noticing something in the sky, this strange comet. And not only that, but meteors were falling from the sky and landing on players. This made for some hilarious clips. There's one thing I miss about OG Fortnite, it was the secret battle stars. In loading screens, you could find these secret coordinates. And when going to them, you would find a battle star. These stars would give you an entire level and allow you to get more items in the battle pass. It used to feel so good to get this as well. Remember the big shield potion changes? Well, that wasn't the only changes to shields. Everyone knows that you can carry 6 minis now. But in Chapter 1, you could carry 10 minis at one time. An extremely forgotten collaboration was the It collaboration in Chapter 1. If you went to Pleasant Park, you would find this balloon, and when you broke it, you would hear this creepy laugh. This was so creepy. We never even got a skin or anything, this was just there to scare players. But this character was forgotten by everyone, even Epic Games. Because one time there was a new emote, and Fortnite posted a trailer for it, but the skin in the trailer never even came out. I'm not sure what happened to it, but it seems like Fortnite forgot. Did you know that Fortnite did a collaboration with Super Smash Bros? Okay, kind of. There was an amazing LTM in Chapter 2. Every time you got hit, your percentage went up, and it threw you back further, and if you got hit too much, you would get thrown into the storm. Eventually, there would only be one player left, and this was an insane LTM. But this next one was only in the game for 1 day. But before I tell you that, subscribe if you guys are enjoying so you don't forget about me. If you guys would like to support me, use code PBJ when you buy them. Okay, back to the video. In Chapter 2, a few players came across this weird looking mushroom. But this mushroom wasn't normal, because if you emoted, this guy would follow you around and heal you, like some sort of personal pet. But one of my favorite LTMs in Fortnite was called Dogfight. This game mode was only planes. There was a sky limit, and if you went too close to the island, you would explode. But you had to shoot each other with new items to beat the enemies. I wish Fortnite would bring these back. Just like I wish they would bring back the Cupid's crossbow. This crossbow doesn't do any damage to builds, and in the Valentine's Day game mode, this was the only item. This made sky bases extremely overpowered. Something else that was extremely overpowered was fishing, because back in the day, they used to have an item called the cuttlefish. This worked as proximity grenade, and when someone was near, it would grab onto them and explode them. This was so overpowered, so I guess it makes sense that they removed it, but we have a few more secrets about fish later in the video. A lot of players have heard of Prop Hunt, the creative game modes that allow you to turn into props and play hide and seek pretty much. But did you know that they actually added this to Battle Royale? There was an item that allowed you to turn into any prop on the island. This was crazy, but it was removed after like only 1 week. But let's go way back in time. Chapter 1, Season 1. Fortnite was still new, and they didn't put any time into making the grenades, so the image was just a white PNG. But many people don't remember the insane feature that allowed us to choose what items were unvaulted. This was a vote. Anyone could go in-game and spend gold bars to vote on what they wanted to return. Anywhere from turrets to the mech. But okay, this has to be my favorite thing about Halloween. Sometimes Fortnite changes the map to match Halloween, but when this happens, there are a few pay-to-win skins by simply sitting in plain sight. Check it out. But something even crazier was that tilted towers could be destroyed within 5 seconds. Tfue found a glitch that literally destroyed Tilted in an instant. Play the clip. But another forgotten change in Chapter 2 was when the most hated POI ever released. When Coral Castle first came out, it was named Carl. This was random and very funny, but I do miss when we had side grading. This allowed you to take a basic weapon and turn it into something a little similar but completely different. But this skin was one of the most forgotten details in Fortnite. It changes depending on where you are. It even adds a tail when you go in the water. Okay, I know I've said something was my favorite a few times in this video, but my favorite POI ever has to be Starry Suburbs, a forgotten location. But something about this location was way more forgotten than the POI itself, because these stars would fall from the sky and give you the only ever golden submachine gun. In Chapter 1 Season 9, an item came out that has never returned, the Storm Flip. This item was so insane that it literally pushed back the storm, or it could even create the storm. Remember when I mentioned the cuttlefish? Yeah, that's not the only fish that's missing, because there used to be so many rare fish in the game that simply don't exist anymore, like the Midas Flopper. This fish turned your whole inventory into legendary items.
2, 1, eat ugly fish. Oh, let's go!
Hardly anyone remembers when Fortnite had a shotgun sniper. 95 damage from there is crazy. Many people are familiar with the spike traps in Fortnite, but more recent players would have no idea that there were many more traps in the game. From the ice traps to the poison dart traps, I'm pretty sure the most forgotten was this electricity trap. Okay, but that doesn't compare to the item that was even forgotten by Epic Games themselves. The back bling was added to the files in Chapter 4, but wasn't released until Chapter 5 Season 4. I mean, it's absolutely adorable. I don't know why they would hold off so long before releasing it, but I guess they forgot. But 99% of Fortnite players forgot about this next one, a secret Minecraft collaboration. Don't forget to stay to the end of the video because I know you'll want to remember some of these things. Back in the day, content creators were asked by Epic Games to play Fortnite, and in return they would get their own banner icon in-game. And one of these creators chose a Minecraft watermelon as their banner. This was an unofficial collaboration, but now this is one of the rarest banners in the game. Fortnite is pay to win. Do you believe me? Well, it's true. Nick830 realized that some cars were actually better than others.
This Whiplash is a car that people have by default, because as you see, you can kill the opponent very easily. I am not able to hit him. It's just a lot harder to hit your opponents. It's a lot easier to kill your opponents in these pay-to-lose cars.
This next one is a little more recent. In Chapter 5, lemons were hidden all over the island. Collecting them gave you XP, but that was it. It confused many players, and seasons passed by and people forgot about this. But then, a Spanish creator named Rubius got a skin in the game, and suddenly it all made sense. Some of his branding revolves around lemons, which means this was a secret tease from the very start, and everybody forgot. In Chapter 3, there was a Fortnite X Among Us collaboration, and in this collaboration, it gave us this amazing back bling. But a forgotten secret is that when you get knocked, you can hear the Among Us death sound effect. Sometimes I forget about this and it kind of jump scares me. But I bet you don't remember the Mando's Bounty LTM. This LTM gave you a bounty, and if you successfully hunted them down, you would get extra points, maybe? I don't know. I don't even remember about this one anymore. But there is a secret reference to SpongeBob in game. With this rainbow emote, it is identical to this SpongeBob clip. But again, Fortnite forgot about this next one too. In Season OG, there was a huge letdown. This time machine umbrella had 2 dates on it, and when those dates came around, nothing even happened. In old Fortnite, there was some creepy features. People even made dedicated videos to it, going from Slenderman all the way to a disappearing teddy bear. Yeah, this one definitely scared me as a kid.
There is a stuffed teddy bear, and after I look at it for a few seconds, it disappears, and this is really creepy.
The first collaboration in Fortnite was actually one of the most forgotten. At Risky Reels, if you were patient enough, you would have seen this happen. But literally nothing came from this. Like, that was it. Come on, Fortnite, give us Wreck-It Ralph skin or something. Subscribe if you're enjoying so far. Obviously, no one could forget about the time when Fortnite actually added aliens. But there was one thing that people did seem to forget. The abductions. Players would randomly get abducted and placed back on the island. Maybe the aliens are the ones making us forget all these things. In Chapter 2 Season 6, Fortnite added something called bunker chests. It was a rare chest that would give you extremely good loot. This even had players racing for certain houses just to get the loot first. Another forgotten chest is the cosmic chest. This would require your whole team to be there, and you'd have to take turns hitting this just to receive some boring blue loot. No wonder everyone forgot about this. But this one was forgotten because Fortnite never even told anyone. In Chapter 3, Fortnite secretly added a Segway collaboration. And some people have this emote and don't even realize it's a collaboration. There was an absolutely overpowered drop spot in Chapter 2. Fortnite added this boat that would spawn in random locations each match. But it did guarantee you 2 supply drops, 2 IO chests, and so many heals. But not as insane as the Storm Scout Sniper. This sniper had a 100% no-scope accuracy and told you the next storm circle. Fortnite eventually nerfed this thing, but man, it was fun. This next one kinda blows my mind. The Gravitron was added into the game for only a few weeks, which makes it surprisingly forgotten. But it was still one of the funniest items in the game.
Throw the rock into him. That's another 66. Another 22 as well. There we go.
Most people remember the augment system in Chapter 4, but not a lot of people remember the Chapter 2 version of it. Back in Chapter 2, there was a Spy Games LTM, and in this LTM, you could actually equip perks just like the augment system that allowed you to do some crazy things. But there's another forgotten LTM that literally no one remembers. But that one's actually for the end of the video. But for now, a forgotten feature was that when gifting originally came out, you could customize it however you'd like. And this even allowed you to send personal notes. But Fortnite thought this could be bad, so they removed this feature. One time, Fortnite added a feature that told you when someone sent a friend request. And let's just say this was bad. Play the clip.
Aw, cool. Someone wants to be friends.
What? What was that?
Aw, cool. We've got a friend request. We've got a friend request.
Back in Chapter 1, there was a feature in Greasy Grove that was hilarious. It made you dance every 60 seconds and interrupted so many fights.
All right, boys. What?
8 years ago, someone posted this to YouTube, and within it is something really creepy. This was in Fortnite Save the World, a zombie game where you have to build and fight zombies. Well, in one of the houses, there was some pretty disturbing things to be found. This player found a house that spawns randomly. Everything looked normal on the surface, but behind this closet is some sort of basement that was clearly not used for good things, with knives, a jail cell, and a chair. This is 20 dark secrets in Fortnite. But wait, because later in this video, I reveal some really disturbing secrets that are actually in Fortnite. But by the end of this video, you will be freaked out the next time you play Fortnite. In 2018, there was a clip that was going around everywhere that was scaring everyone. There are just some locations that make everyone feel a little on edge, in real life and also in video games. In this specific case, it's in Wailing Woods. The dark, empty forest just used to feel different. And at one point, there were clips going around that players were seeing Slender Man. At first, this clip looked like he was going crazy, but slow it down and zoom in at the right moment and it all makes sense. He's just standing there. But I don't think this one is very real. I think they faked it. But I still could imagine people thinking that they saw something in the storm. and maybe they actually did. Subscribe if you've enjoyed so far. These only get crazier and scarier as the video goes on. And later in the video, somebody actually finds something that is really creepy, and there's no explanation for it. But 7 years ago, Fortnite was haunted by ghosts, and this one isn't explained very easily, because in Pleasant Park, many players in different moments shared that they have all heard footsteps that didn't belong to any players. And not only that, but doors would open by themselves. And we even have video proof. This was never solved though, so what do you think actually happened here? It seems that chapter 1 was just completely haunted, because this clip takes place in early chapter 1. If you landed at the classic soccer stadium and go inside the gas station, there was a teddy bear, and it was sitting inside the car. But for some players, this teddy bear would disappear, which was an extremely eerie thing that still goes unsolved. At this point, we are used to creepy things happening in Fortnite, and it was extremely common for earlier Fortnite. This next clip is no exception, because on one random day, Fortnite made a new update, and in this update, it was simple. They added a creepy scene to the game, including 5 chairs and a scarecrow. One of these chairs had a teddy bear in it, and something about this was just extremely eerie. But the real question was, what belongs in the other chairs? Tilted Towers has a huge secret. Not only is this something Fortnite tried to hide, but it also holds the truth to the most horrifying legend of Tilted Towers. Most people would say that Tilted Towers is not a scary location, but it depends who you ask, because only OGs remember the truth behind Tilted Towers and the clowns that were inside of it. It's 2018 and someone uploads a video to YouTube called Clown in Tilted Towers Fortnite Easter Egg, I Found Him, Watch Now. It's a long title and it seems kinda goofy, like some kids making a joke, but players say they saw a clown in the video. If you look, he was standing there as if something was by this hole in the ground. But personally, I can't see anything. But does that mean it didn't happen? Not really. A YouTuber by the name of Communic Gaming uploaded a video covering this topic. And in fact, there were multiple clown sightings in Tilted Towers. In the first clip, we can see a player looking through the window of Tilted Towers and staring down at what seems to be a hole in the ground. But is this hole still there in 2025? Let's go check for ourselves. Okay, so we are in Fortnite OG, and this is where the player was standing, looking through this window. So let's go check if this hole actually exists. Okay, so it was right around here. Oh my goodness, it's actually real still. But that doesn't necessarily mean the clowns are real. I mean, he did see them while in the storm, so let's wait around and see if we can find any clowns. The storm is here now, guys. I'm going to stand exactly where he was during this video and see if we can get the clowns to spawn. Well, I didn't see any clowns, but maybe I missed him. Be careful when in Tilted Towers. Send me any clips in my Discord if you find any clowns or mysterious moments in Fortnite. But have you ever wondered where the names of Fortnite locations come from? Some locations are obvious, like Tilted Towers, Lonely Lodge, Paradise Palms, Haunted Hills, but what about locations like Wailing Woods? Obviously we get the woods part, but why Wailing? Well, this next dark secret actually shows exactly the answer to that. There are all sorts of weird and creepy noises when you go to Wailing Woods. Some players heard beeping, and some people even heard laughter, but others have heard weird breathing sounds and even crying, which explains the name Wailing Woods. If you go to Wailing Woods, make sure you have your volume turned up so you can hear for yourself. and let me know if you find anything suspicious. Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 7 was one of the greatest seasons in Fortnite, and even had a really cool new location called Polar Peak. This location had a castle on top of a giant snow mountain, but one day Fortnite had a live event, and during this live event the volcano erupted and hit the giant mountain of snow, and what revealed it was shocking: a giant eye watching you. If you got close, you could hear the heartbeat of a horrifying monster. Later, this was revealed to be a monster that was defeated by the mecha robot, but it was still horrifying to the players who didn't know about it. At one point in Fortnite, players started hearing creepy laughter, and for some reason, when they followed this laughter, it was a little creepy gnome. These gnomes were a part of a challenge, but their existence was never explained. And why was their laugh so creepy?
What the?
In Chapter 1, it was Halloween time, and Fortnite decided they would do something that scared a lot of players. In random places on the island, there were these chairs that would start floating. What caused these chairs to float, we still don't know. Why did Fortnite decide to do this? We still don't know that either. But it definitely scared a lot of players. Back in Chapter 2, the storyline was in full force, and the Cube Queen showed up to the island to destroy it. But if you were patient and listened closely, you would hear the Cube Queen laugh. It was super creepy, and not many players noticed this. Take a listen. But in Fortnite Save the World, there are definitely some creepy things. We've already taken a look at a few of them, but this next one isn't an exception. It's not really a dark secret, but more of a creepy fact. When placing down a robot llama, the eyes will follow you wherever you go. And the eyes look a little too human, which is really creepy and unsettling. But this next clip is one of the scariest and most realistic ones in this video. It's completely unexplained and will leave you looking over your shoulder while playing Fortnite. The clip was posted to Reddit. With the description, I think I may have just witnessed a demon in Fortnite. Here's the clip. I'm not sure if you saw that, but the player we are watching randomly decides to destroy a tree with their gun. It looks like he's going crazy at first, until you play the video back. Right before he starts shooting, there is someone or something behind the tree. He wasn't crazy, I see it with my own eyes. Or are we all crazy? Because when he destroys the tree, there is nothing to be found. Whatever this was able to disappear without a trace. And if it wasn't recorded, players would not believe him. Some people think it was a bug with the game render, which is very possible, but other people think it was something like Herobrine in Fortnite. Sadly, we don't have an explanation for this one, but let me know if you see anything creepy in your Fortnite matches. In 2025, they brought back Classic Chapter 1, but this was with a few changes, and one of them is really creepy, because in Wailing Woods, there is this bunker. This was here back in the original Chapter 1 as well, but there's something different this time, because at some point, this thing started flashing lights out of the bunker, and these lights weren't just random. In fact, they were flashing in Morse code, and the Morse code message came out as "something is wrong," which is super creepy and really weird. We don't know what they meant by this yet to this day. On a random day in 2019, Fortnite decided to add something to the game that would haunt players forever. In Pleasant Park and Paradise Palms, there was something added without any explanation, but somehow everybody knew what it meant. A red balloon was added to some of the sewer drains, and when you popped the balloon, this sound was played. This was obviously a hint at Pennywise, also known as It the Clown. Everyone expected Fortnite to add a skin for him, but we never got one. And another Save the World secret, if you're lucky enough, there is a certain house that will spawn. And if you are cultured with horror films, you will notice that this is an exact copy of the Shining horror movie. The carpet, the two gnomes, is exactly the same. Someone at Epic Games really liked this movie. Alright, that's it for today. If you've seen any creepy moments in Fortnite, make sure to send them in my Discord, link in the description. Use code PBJ.
Watch the video on the screen to see 27 secrets found by YouTubers in Fortnite.